G'day guys and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, something a little bit different today, and I'm sure you've all heard this. It's been in the news for a while now. The NRL's 18th side, there is a push for a Pacifica NRL team, and I am all for this. But first and foremost, we will go over everything we know so far, and then I will give you my thoughts on this new NRL team. So to start things off with, a lot of speculation is that it will be a Cairns-based NRL side, so they'll play the majority of their games out of Cairns. They'll play a lot of their games out of Papua New Guinea as well. That is sort of the not so much the official sort of side of things, but this is what the NRL are considering. Basically, Scott Sattler has put in his suggestion that the club obviously plays probably 60 to 70% of their games out of Cairns, but then also plays out of Fiji and Papua New Guinea. Now, obviously, you'd probably want to play some games at Samoa and Tonga and the Cook Islands and stuff like that. Like, I think that'd be great for the game. But the next question that a lot of people have is, if we're going to have this team, they realistically need to rebrand the NRL, because at this point in time, it's not a national competition anymore. You've got the Warriors in there. New Zealand are pushing for a second team. You've got the Pacifica Nation side that wants to come in, and by all accounts is probably going to be awarded as the next NRL team. So, like, there's a lot of teams that are looking at being outside of Australia. So we need to look at rebranding the NRL. So I don't know what we'd sort of call that, whether we call it the International Rugby League, which we can't really do, or I'm not too sure. I quite like NRL, and I wouldn't mind them to keep it like that. I know it's not really true, but it's better than ARL, and I think it still works. I really do. The next one is Volandis has come out publicly and said that if all goes to plan, the idea of a Pacifica NRL team will happen as soon as 2025. Like, if all goes well, all goes to plan, he said he could see it happening as soon as 2025. So that's awesome. I think it's great. I really do. So my thoughts on this, I think Cairns is a perfect spot for this. North of Townsville actually quite dislikes the Cowboys. Now, obviously, I'm not speaking for everybody that lives in Cairns, but obviously the Rabbitohs take games to Cairns a fair bit. So I've been to Cairns a little bit, and talking to the locals there, like, there was more Rabbitohs jerseys at Barlow Park than there were Cowboys jerseys. And I work with a couple of people that have transferred to my site from Cairns. So obviously I live in Brisbane. They've transferred down here from Cairns, and they both go for the Broncos because the Cowboys do nothing for Cairns. Everything's basically Townsville. Townsville this, Townsville that. The Cowboys really want nothing to do with Cairns, from what they're telling me. And a lot of people I've spoken to at Cairns, in the casino in Cairns, in hotels, they've pretty much said, we don't support the Cowboys. So I think a second team based in Cairns would be amazing for North Queensland, as well as your Pacifica Nations as well, because you could play a lot of games out of Port Moresby, over in Fiji. There's a lot of Papua New Guinea fans that live in Cairns as well. So I think it's a really good idea. I honestly do. Look, I personally think that it's good for not only North Queensland, but for the Pacific Islands as well. I think it's great. Also, guys, if you're watching this, which I hope some of you are, what would we call the new team? Like, obviously, you could go with some Cairns names, like, or maybe Far North Queensland, or you could have a Pacifica something team. Like, what would you guys like it to be called? I'd love to hear your suggestions. Look, my final thing is, people have asked me, and you guys would probably want to know, do I think this will work? Absolutely, I do. With the success of the Hunters in the Queensland Cup and the growth of the game around the Pacific Island nations, I think it's the best idea moving forward for the NRL. Like, in a lot of it's very soon, not in a long time, very soon, the NRL is going to be predominantly Indigenous and Pacific Island players. Like it's just the way it's going. It honestly is. Like obviously, you're still going to have, your Aussies there, your Pommies and all that will play in the game, obviously. But there's going to be a lot more Pacific Island players. There's going to be a lot more Indigenous players there. Like the game is growing, it's expanding, and I think moving forward, this is the perfect idea for the NRL. So, guys, look, I know I'm going to get a bit of controversy in the comments, and people are going to knock back on this idea, and it's fair enough. Just let me know why. Let me know why you want to knock back on it. But yeah, for the people that are for it, let me know your ideas. Like, what's the team name going to be called? Where are they going to play their games out of? I think Cairns is a perfect spot. I think it's a very good idea. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. So let me know down in the comments, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.